Ever wondered why marathon runners look like they're participating in a high-speed conga line? It's a funny image, isn't it? But there's a lot more to marathon running than meets the eye. Marathon running is a test of endurance, a battle of wills between you and the 26.2 miles that stretch out in front of you. It's a popular sport, drawing in millions of participants each year from all walks of life. From professional athletes to weekend warriors, from fitness enthusiasts to those ticking off a bucket list item, marathons are a universal challenge that many are eager to tackle. But what makes marathon running so captivating? Is it the sense of accomplishment at the finish line? The camaraderie among runners? Or perhaps it's the sheer madness of willingly subjecting yourself to hours of relentless running? Well, it's all of these and more. Now let's talk about the techniques of marathon running. It's not as simple as putting one foot in front of the other, although that's certainly part of it. It involves strategic planning, pacing, and a whole lot of mental fortitude. Does it sound complicated? Maybe a bit. But don't worry, we're here to break it down for you. We can compare different marathon techniques to a conga line. Yes, you heard that right, a conga line. Imagine this. You're at a party, the music is upbeat, everyone is dancing. Suddenly, a conga line forms. Some people are fast, leading the line with gusto. Others are slower, maintaining a steady rhythm. Some might even stumble but quickly find their footing again. And some are just there for the fun of it, laughing and enjoying the ride. In a marathon, you'll find all these types. The fast ones, the steady ones, the ones who stumble but keep going, and those who are there to enjoy the experience. Each runner has their own technique, their own rhythm, just like in a conga line. So are all marathons just high-speed conga lines? Stay tuned to find out. Remember the story of the tortoise and the hare? Turns out it's not just a bedtime story for kids. It's an age-old tale that offers a profound lesson on pacing, especially when it comes to running a marathon. You see, marathons aren't about speed, they're about endurance. They're not a 100-meter dash where you sprint right off the blocks. They're a test of stamina, resilience, and the ability to maintain a steady pace. That's where our friend the tortoise comes into the picture. Slow and steady, he plods along the course, never rushing, never stopping. He's the embodiment of perfect pacing. Now let's consider the hare, swift, confident, and a little too eager to finish the race. He starts off at a blistering pace, leaving everyone else in his wake. But his speed comes at a cost. He tires out quickly and has to take a breather, while the tortoise, with his steady pace, catches up and eventually wins the race. This isn't just a fairy tale. It happens in real life too. We've all seen those runners who start off like they're being chased by a pack of wild dogs, only to end up panting and struggling halfway through the race. It's like they've hit a wall, and there's no way around it. It's a phenomenon known as hitting the wall, and it's as funny as it is sad. There's the story of a runner who started so fast that he was leading the race for the first few miles. He was waving at the crowd, basking in his moment of glory. But as the race progressed, his energy levels plummeted, and he found himself being overtaken by runners who had maintained a steady pace. By the time he reached the finish line, there was no one around to cheer for him. So the next time you're in a marathon, remember, you're the tortoise, not the hare. Embrace the slow and steady approach, maintain your pace, and you'll find yourself crossing the finish line with energy to spare. After all, it's not just about finishing the race, it's about enjoying the journey. Ever seen a marathon runner grab a water bottle like they found a long-lost treasure? Ah, the hydration station, the oasis in the desert of a marathon course. It's the place where runners flock like seagulls to a chip, their eyes wide in anticipation, hands outstretched, ready to snatch that life-giving liquid. Imagine this. You're in the middle of a marathon. You've been running for what feels like an eternity. You're hot, you're tired, your mouth feels like it's been stuffed with cotton wool. And then you see it, the beacon of hope, the water station. Suddenly, you're like a kid in a candy store. You want to grab every bottle, gulp down every drop. But why such a rush? Why do marathon runners treat water stations like they've stumbled upon the fountain of youth? Well, simply put, hydration is critical during a marathon. Water is the fuel that keeps the body's engine running. It cools you down, keeps your muscles lubricated, and helps you maintain the pace. Without it, You might as well be trying to drive a car without petrol. Let's think about it in a different way. Imagine you're a houseplant. Without water, you'd wilt and wither, right? Same goes for marathon runners. Without hydration, their performance wilts, and they wither under the strain of the race. But unlike houseplants, marathon runners can't just sit in a sunny window and wait for someone to water them. They have to take control of their hydration, and that's where the hilarity ensues. The scramble for water, the desperate gulps, the relief as the cool liquid hits their parched throats. It's a sight to behold. So if you've ever wondered why marathon runners make such a fuss over water stations, now you know. It's not just because they're thirsty. It's because they understand that staying hydrated is the key to keeping their bodies running smoothly and efficiently. It's the secret ingredient to their success. So treasure those water stations, folks. They might just be your best friend during a marathon. Why does a marathon sometimes look like a mobile social gathering? Well, it's all about the power of peers. You see, running a marathon is not just a test of physical endurance, it's also a shared experience, a collective journey. And when you're in it together, the miles don't seem that long, and the finish line doesn't seem that far. Imagine you're at a bustling party. There's laughter, camaraderie, shared stories, and the feeling of belonging. Now, picture that party on the move, with running shoes on, and you've got yourself a marathon. It's like a fun social gathering, but with a lot more sweat and endorphins. Running in a group or with a partner during a marathon can have a multitude of benefits. For one, it fosters a sense of community. Just like how the best parties are the ones where everyone feels included, the same applies to marathons. When you're running together, you share the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Moreover, there's a certain kind of magic in group dynamics that can push you beyond your perceived limits. Have you ever noticed how a funny story gets funnier when you share it with a crowd? It's the same with running. The fatigue might be setting in, your legs might be screaming for a break, but the collective energy of your peers can give you that extra push, just like a good punchline in a shared joke. And let's not forget about the encouragement, the shared strategies, and the odd friendly competition that can spur you on. It's like being at a potluck, where everyone brings their own unique dish to the table. You get to learn, grow, and taste success together. So next time you're gearing up for a marathon, don't just think of it as a long, grueling run. Instead, picture it as a moving social event filled with camaraderie, shared laughter, and collective triumph. Who knew marathons could be social events on the move? Ever wondered why marathon runners often look like they're deep in thought or talking to themselves? Well, they're not rehearsing their grocery list or practicing a Shakespearean soliloquy. They're playing the mind game, a crucial part of marathon running that's as taxing as the physical training, if not more. You see, running a marathon isn't just about the legs, the heart, or the lungs. It's about the mind too. It's like a chess match where your opponent is yourself, and the game board is the 26.2 miles stretching out in front of you. Let's delve into the world of self-talk, a common mental strategy among runners. It's like having a motivational speaker in your head, cheering you on. Some runners use funny self-talk. Imagine running mile after mile telling yourself, "I'm a cheetah chasing a gazelle," or "I'm a superhero, and this marathon is my arch nemesis." Sounds silly, right? But hey, if it gets you to the finish line, why not? Then there's visualization, where runners picture themselves crossing the finish line or imagine the route ahead. It's like having a GPS system in your mind, guiding you through each mile. But unlike your car's GPS, this one can also show you a crowd cheering, a medal around your neck, or a nice cold drink waiting at the end of the run. Some runners take it a step further and create elaborate mental movies. Picture this. You're not just running a marathon, you're on a mission to deliver an important message, like a modern-day Variability. Or maybe you're in a movie, racing against time to save the world. Sure, these mental strategies might seem quirky, but they're powerful tools in a marathoner's arsenal. They help runners keep their focus, push through the pain, and reach that finish line. So next time you see a marathon runner deep in thought or muttering to themselves, they're not going crazy. They're just playing the mind game. And remember, in a marathon, your mind is as important as your legs. Ever notice the strange faces runners make as they cross the finish line? It's a sight to behold, really. Imagine the relief of a student finishing a grueling final exam, or the joy of a hungry person finally getting their food at a restaurant. That, my friends, is the face of a marathon runner crossing the finish line. This is the final sprint, the last push, the end of a journey that's been both physically and emotionally exhausting. It's like the last 5 minutes of cooking a complicated dish. You've followed the recipe to a T, you've been patient, and now you're just waiting for the timer to go off. But in this case, the timer is your own body, and it's screaming at you to stop. We've all seen that final sprint, haven't we? It's like watching a suspenseful movie. Will they make it? Will they trip? Will they suddenly decide to take a detour and go for an ice cream instead? The possibilities are endless, but then they cross the finish line. And oh, the emotions that come with it. There's joy, relief, exhaustion, and a strange sense of accomplishment that only a marathon runner can truly understand. It's like finding a parking spot after circling the block for half an hour, or finally getting rid of an annoying piece of popcorn stuck in your teeth. It's pure, unadulterated bliss. Now, let's talk about the reactions. Some runners punch the air, some collapse on the ground, some even cry. It's like watching a series of sitcom reactions, only better because it's real. You see, these reactions are not just about finishing the race. They're about overcoming the mental and physical hurdles, about proving to themselves that they can do it, about pushing their limits. So, the next time you see a marathon runner cross the finish line, remember they're not just happy to finish, they're happy to stop running. So, ready to join the high-speed conga line? It's a fun way to think about marathon running, isn't it? We've spent the last 14 minutes unveiling secrets and techniques to help you in your marathon journey. Now it's your turn to step into those running shoes, get on the track, and make your marathon dream a reality. Let's take a quick jaunt down memory lane and recap the high points of our marathon madness journey. Remember the Tortoise Technique. Slow and steady may not win the race in the marathon world, but it sure will help you finish it. It's about consistent effort and not running out of steam halfway through. It's like trying to eat a whole pizza by yourself. You don't wolf down the entire thing in one go, do you? Then we splashed into hydration hilarity. Just like forgetting to water your plants can make them wilt, forgetting to hydrate during a marathon can have you wilting on the track. It's not about chugging a gallon of water at the start line, but sipping it steadily throughout the race. We also explored the power of peers. Ever noticed how laughter is contagious? The same goes for the energy in a marathon. Running with a group can keep your spirits high and your legs moving. It's like going to a party with friends. You're less likely to leave early if you're having a blast, right? Then, we delved into the mind game. Your mind can be your strongest ally, or your biggest foe during a marathon. It's like you're trying to convince a stubborn toddler to eat their vegetables. Sometimes, you have to trick your mind to keep going when your body wants to quit. Finally, we reached the finish line. The sweet victory of crossing that line, no matter your position, is a feeling like no other. It's like finally finding your car keys after turning your house upside down. The relief, the joy, the sense of accomplishment. Now it's your turn to take these nuggets of wisdom and use them to your advantage. Whether you're a seasoned marathoner or a first-time runner, these techniques can help you run your best race. But remember, every marathon journey is unique, just like every pizza is different. You might prefer a thin crust with extra cheese, while someone else might go for a deep dish with lots of veggies. The important thing is to find what works best for you. Enjoy the process and celebrate your personal victories. Running a marathon is no small feat. It takes courage, determination, and a good sense of humor. So, as you lace up your sneakers and embark on your marathon journey, remember to laugh, stay hydrated, and most importantly, keep moving forward. What's your favorite marathon technique? What funny marathon incidents have you experienced or witnessed? Share your stories and thoughts in the comments below.